You're watching The G20 Show, produced by Phil from Arcade Regiment and, of course, your host, G20.
Ladies and gentlemen, referees Dan O'Rourke and Gord Dwyer have called a stop to this contest in the 5th round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, declaring your winner via unanimous decision, the Tampa Bay Lightning!
Well, is it unanimous decision, though?
It was quite unanimous.
No, that's not what I mean. If it stopped in the 5th round when it was supposed to go 7, isn't it just a knockout?
I guess so. I guess it
Yeah.
would be a knockout. There you
I
go.
think it would be a knockout.
Knocked out in the 5th round, ladies and gentlemen. The cup has been awarded. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Wow.
For reference, Phil said he had a fun thing for the intro, and he didn't want to tell me what it was, and so I did not know that was coming.
I thought about it in the shower yesterday. I'm like, how can we bring in the podcast? You know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this will work. This will be something.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
But
man.
it is Friday, July the 9th, right?
Yes,
right.
it is.
July the 9th, as we are recording this. It has been awesome. Took a little bit of a break last week because there was only one series to talk about. So I was like, why don't we take a breather and figure out who's going to win the series and then come back and talk about the Stanley Cup final. And that is what we did. So welcome to the G20 show. James cannot be here because he is working, but it's all good. It's all good.
He's a working man. He's got to make that dough.
Yeah.
He's got to make that dough.
Yes, sir. Jimmy Banks, as I call him.
Jimmy Banks.
I just made that up.
That's what I'm calling him now, Jimmy Banks.
That's it. I might fuck around and change his name in my phone now, Jimmy Banks.
It's what he's going to be in my phone from now on because I love how that sounds.
Because none of my friends have their actual names in my phone. It's stupid. I have this thing where everyone has a nickname, and sometimes I don't. I'm like, I want to text Phil, and then Siri's like, you don't have Phil in your phone. I'm like, oh shit, I don't.
I don't have Phil in my phone. What is this? But we do have a winner of the Stanley Cup. The Cup du Stanley. I don't know if that's what it's called in French. I'm so sorry.
There's no thing in the middle. It's just Cup Stanley. It's just
perfect. But it is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And first things first, Marshall, did you see this coming?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Everyone, I feel, in the hockey world saw this coming when you saw the matchup on paper, Montreal versus Tampa Bay. But there was still a little part of me, man, that just
Montreal. I thought the Habs would get 2. I'm pretty sure I said Bolts in 6 because I thought they would fight a little bit.
I don't remember what I said, to be honest with you.
I think that's what I said, but I don't. You know, I'm sure somebody in the comments knows. Speaking of the comments, by the way, just real quick before we get going. If you go down to the description, you will find our Twitter links down below. So follow me, follow Phil. Phil's Twitch is going to be there. Everything's going to be there. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and look down there because I'm trying to get my followers up. I don't know.
I like that. We should get your, do you know what your followers are at right now? Question.
Like 300 something on Twitter.
Let's get that up. Let's slowly start to make that climb up, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to pass me, okay? Listen, you already passed me in subscribers. We need you to pass me in followers. That's the new goal from now on. That is the absolute new goal, okay?
Fair enough. By the end of the month, I should have 3 million total views on the channel. So that's fucking dope.
By the way, congrats on that. That's still impressive, man.
Thanks.
And it's all thanks to you guys, man. Watching the videos, liking, commenting, subscribing.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely due to you guys, man. And I mean, we can talk about that just super, super quick. The growth in the past year has been phenomenal, at least for your channel, man. It has been extraordinary.
I was happy when NHL 21 announced that they would, be bringing in this new Be a Pro mode because that's what I do. And I was like, oh, my channel might see a little bit of growth. Like I thought I was going to reach like maybe 10K by the time 22 came out. Maybe. I was like, if we're gonna keep honest, I'll probably get stuck at 8 or 9K, but maybe 10K by the time 22 comes out, and I had 10K like a couple weeks after 21 came out, so it's been crazy. We're on the road to passing the Buffalo Sabres in subscribers, so that would be fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay. that we need to hit as well.
I checked the Oilers and they're like 35,000, so I'm not passing them anytime soon. But one day we'll pass the Oilers. It'll be great.
It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda. You know,
it sure is.
It's certainly on the agenda, and we have a packed agenda today because there's a lot of things with the Stanley Cup final that we have to break down.
Yes.
We got to break down the Lightning. We got to break down the Canadians and just what a great run they had. First and foremost, man. Like
we might get into why I might quit the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, okay. And then we have some news from Vladimir Tarasenko. Apparently, he wants out. He wants a trade.
Right. $7.5 million on the cap. That is a good contract.
Mm-hmm. And that's only for 2 years as well. So if that's retained, that's a good scoring piece there. But
no
we're gonna get into
fucking shot.
That it gets retained. You want to
No
you got to
shot.
move the entire thing. Well, we'll get into that. But let's start with obviously the big thing: the Tampa Bay Lightning winning. Pat Maroon completes the Patrick with 3 straight Stanley Cups. Good for him.
That's awesome.
My boy Anthony Cirelli with his 2nd cup now, so Phil's ecstatic. Andrei Vasilevsky winning the Conn Smythe. Marshall, do you feel like that was the best pick for the Conn Smythe?
I don't think it was even a question.
No, that's fair. He played absolutely unreal. What was that stat? 5 straight series clinching shutouts. That's stupid. That's so insane of a stat.
It's so insane that it's an NHL record.
Yeah.
So,
man, records in the NHL getting broken this year with goaltenders, man. It's absolutely insane. Nikita
Which is
Kucherov,
crazy because technically scoring is going up a little bit.
That is also true.
Records, which is weird.
But yet, that just goes to show you how good the goaltenders in the NHL are now. Like how they're just stacking up like competition wise, where even when scoring is going up, they're still breaking wins records, shutouts records. Like it's insane.
You know what I find funny though is all the people that are just now realizing that goalie equipment is big.
Oh, of course.
Have you seen that on Twitter? Oh my god, that's so cringe. They're like, dude, Vasilevsky's pads are big. I'm like, we haven't seen the net in decades, guys. Like they wear Titanfall armor, my dude.
He's also a taller goaltender too. Actually, he's a bit taller of a guy.
He is.
And he looks like he's tall, and the equipment is just. And I remember someone was just like, "Well, how come it's all puffed up?" And then someone's like,
"That's goalie gear."
And someone's like, "Well, Carey Price wears his thing tucked, like his chest stretcher tucked in a bit, and Vasilevsky doesn't. Like it's gonna naturally just protrude outward."
Yeah.
Like I love how that's become an issue. I mean, goalie equipment was an issue. I think it was maybe 3 to 4 years ago. Like I feel like I heard a lot about this around the 14, 15, 15, 16 season. And like with like regards to like chest protectors. Yes, and they shrunk down pads a bit. Like I remember that was like the issue then, and that was at least 5-6 years ago. But now of course, it feels like fans right now, and this is what's gonna get me like just a massive headache. Fans right now are just finding ways to take this like away from Tampa. It's like, oh, you're 18 million over the cap, which as we've discussed at length here. It does not. They were not. And Vasilevsky's pads are they scored with 7 goals on the ice. The referee but like, shut up.
Just appreciate greatness when you see it. I don't understand, because this is not a hockey thing. This happens in every sport. Like when the Warriors were going off on their run, when LeBron was making the finals every single year. Like people, when they see greatness, their first instinct is, okay, how can I take this away? And how can I make the greatness just average?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like when we see somebody great, like why don't we just appreciate it?
Yeah.
You know?
Top of your head really quick. Do you hear anybody saying anything about those Bulls 3-peat runs? Or do you hear people talking about how great Michael Jordan was? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. You just need to appreciate when something good is in front of you.
Yeah. Which I think a lot of people do, but social media brings out, like, gives idiots a bigger voice than they really should have. So there's that.
Bobby Bunch of Numbers has to weigh in with his take on every post. You know?
Yeah.
But
Fancy numbers.
yeah, Bobby 718421-6410 says, "Oh, they're over the cap." Like,
Account
dude.
created in June 2021.
No profile picture.
That's who talks the most shit always.
But exactly, I mean, I didn't really hear this when the Pens went back to back. People are just like, man, Sidney Crosby, he's great. That team around them, they're good.
I'm sure there was something. I don't remember what it was though.
Oh, there probably was something. Like,
Yeah.
there probably was.
It always is.
But yeah, with this, asterisks, they were in a bubble. Nope, they played the same playoff rounds as everyone else. They had a quintuple overtime game. Man, they played 8 games in that series.
Same thing with content creators. Like, you see a lot of the big guys get so much hate. Like, oh, Nasher's cringe or whatever. Like, no, Nasher has his own content and it appeals to a lot of people, and he has a fuck ton of subscribers from it. Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But don't hate on the guy. Like,
that's the thing, man.
it's a great job.
Whenever you do anything, like especially with content, it's not ever going to appeal to everybody.
Exactly.
You're never going to have a perfect census where if you ask 100 people in the street to watch this, not everyone's going to be like, yeah, this is great.
Exactly.
There's going to be a
No
couple
matter
people
how
are going to be
great
like,
it is.
yeah, it can be the best produced, the best edited, the best directed, the best like acted content, the best created content, and there's still going to be some dude like, yeah, I don't like this. I think this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the way it's going to be. Not everyone's going to like it. So, why not? Like, don't try and take it away from the people who do, which is exactly what it's like with Tampa. Don't try to take it away from them.
Objectively, the production value of music has gone up like significantly since prior to the 2000s. Objectively, like there's more technology, it's easier, it's more accessible, we know more about audio and stuff like that. We have better programs, better equipment, and people say that music sucks now because they're going off nostalgia and everything. We know that, but my point is, objectively it's better, and people still say it's worse.
I would love, as someone who studied audio, I would love to be like, yeah, here, let me come show me why it sucks, and then have me sit at the studio for literally 6 hours going, okay, yeah, let me just fix this, for like a 10-second loop. For a 10-second loop to get it to sound how it does would probably take me a long ass time. Tell me that sucks after I have to put all this work into making it sound so simple. So simple, man.
Sound engineers are super underrated in music.
They are. Let me tell you, they are. I got to work on like one of the most the greatest consoles ever in the Neve, this is super niche, but there's only 3 in the world, and it's always one of those things. You ever like do something, you keep forgetting that you've done it before. People are like, oh, there's this thing, it only works. Like, there's only 3 of them in the world. Like, not too many people get to work on it. And I'm like, oh, I learned on that thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm like, yeah, I learned on that thing. Like,
That's
it's just like
pretty
a
cool.
neat little like kind of factoid and stuff like that. But anyway, I feel like we're getting off track here. I want to bring us back.
It's a
Reel us
damn
on back to
podcast.
Tampa. Exactly. It's a damn podcast. It's meant to be like that. I want to get us on back here because I got a question here. Where does Tampa go from here? Because obviously, if they're so far over the cap, right, I kind of want to put this out to you right now. Where do they go from here? They're going to lose some key players. I don't think they're going to be able to bring back Barclay Goodrow. I don't think they're going to be able to bring back Blake Coleman. Like, they still have their core, but this very much felt to me like we were talking about MJ earlier. This very much to me felt like for this particular group, like The Last Dance. I don't know if Pat Maroon comes back unless it's on a very team-friendly contract. But where do you think Tampa is going from here, Marshall?
I think they're not as screwed as some people think they are. Because you can always find a way out of cap trouble. Because shockingly enough, you're allowed to trade players in the NHL. People seem to forget that.
Shut the front door. What?
But, I mean, you trade Tyler Johnson, who, I mean, good player, but he's not an integral part of the team. You trade him, and they might actually get an okay player from it. To be honest, because the way Tyler Johnson played, I thought he was really good.
I
In the
was going to
playoffs.
say, because they put him on waivers initially and no one took him. I was going to ask you actually at the end of that if his value was bumped up, but I think it's pretty
Well,
self-explanatory. It was.
I don't think he wasn't taken because nobody could have used him. I think he wasn't taken because of the salary. Nobody could afford to take him on.
Does that
because
look a
I
little bit
think-
more appetizing now?
I think if Tyler Johnson would have gone on waivers with a $2 million contract, there's no shot he makes it past even half the waiters
Oh, gone.
priority list.
Gone. I
He
think
would
so
have been
too.
gone.
Yeah.
He's a good player. So you trade him. Obviously, you can't really bring back Goudreau or Coleman, but again, good players, but not super vital parts. And then you make, I don't know, you make some trade somewhere, and all of a sudden they're okay again. They can sign veterans at discounted rates. They just won 2 fucking cups in a row.
There
So
and that state tax too, man. Like Tampa's a hella appealing destination too right
Yeah.
now if you're a free agent.
Exactly. So you know what? It might be tough, but they're gonna be a really good team next year again.
Yeah, this isn't like even like me phrasing it like, oh, is Tampa like done? Like, no. Listen, a team that still has Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, Victor Hedman, and Andre Vasilevsky
Vasilevsky.
locked up. Like that team is not going anywhere. Okay.
Like Montreal for the longest time weren't even at the cap. They were spending under it. And because they had Carey Price, they just made the playoffs.
Mhm.
Or they were, among the bubble teams. If Tampa keeps Andre Vasilevsky, they don't need to have the greatest team in the world to make the playoffs. They just they need to just have competent people in front of them and they'll be fine.
Mhm.
Vassie's super good, man. Y'all are sleeping on him.
He is insane.
I absolutely hate he's on a good team, so he's good take. Being on a good team doesn't make you bad. He's he's legitimately the most important player on the ice. He's a goalie. Don't argue with me. I don't give a fuck who's out there. He's a goalie. He is the most important player on the ice.
Mhm.
And he does the job. I promise you, you put Peter Mrazek in Vassie's place. No.
I'll raise you one better, Marshall. You put Michael Hutchinson in
Oh
Andre
my God.
Vasilevsky's place. let's see the 62 win season now. Okay.
Yeah, right. I'd rather be put in a bath with a fucking toaster. I'll tell you that. That would be tough to watch. That guy is not good. But, yeah, man. I think y'all are underrating him.
I think so too. I mean, the fact that he didn't win the Vezina and it went to the guy in
Flower.
Vegas, that's number one bullshit. Number one bullshit.
Number one bullshit is a thing I'm saying now. I
me
promise
too.
you.
Me
It's gonna
too.
creep up in my videos. I'm a couple videos ahead as far as recording them goes,
Yeah.
but I promise you number one bullshit is gonna be a thing.
That's speaking of number one bullshit, by the way, because this is a topic this is the part I wanted to just heavily get into the most because I am very passionate about this subject. Okay, Nikita Kucherov and his comments. We'll say that his comments.
His comment.
After he won the cup. First and foremost, if you guys know me at all, or at least if you've gotten a sense of the kind of person I am, I loved them. I loved his
fuck
comments.
yeah.
I loved it. Thank you, Marshall. High five on that. Right here. High five.
Ah.
Yeah, there we go. I love them comments, man, because let me tell you, this is what this sport needs. And we've talked about it before with the whole Rangers Capitals and, eyeballs on the sport kind of
Yep.
thing, right? So, for those of you who may have missed it, Nikita Kucherov was he started 3 wars all in one, which in like a minute and a half is like, as a wrestling fan, that is a darn good promo right there. He started
that is a great
3
promo.
rivalries right there. Like
Boom.
his bar added 3 new enemies at the bottom. Okay, so to start off, he was talking about how he was saying Vasi was the MVP and how he didn't win the Vezina and it went to that guy in Vegas, which that was his wording. The guy in Vegas, Marc-Andre Fleury, soon to be Hockey Hall of Famer Marc-Andre Fleury.
Mhm.
But he said it went to Vegas, #1 bullshit, which obviously great catchphrase. We're putting that in the shirt, making a lot of money. Like they
Yeah.
have to. And then he said the fact that the Canadians and their fans acted like they won the Stanley Cup after the last game, which I was like, okay, this is getting spicy. And then he ends it with, and it was so casual. He's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and what made it even funnier is the PR person was already moving on to the next question because they thought it was done.
Yeah, he's like trying to shush him along like in the Zoom call.
Yeah. And then Cooch is like their final, like as the PR person is trying to go to the next question, he's like their finals was last round.
Yeah, just right underneath.
Just
Their
casually
final was
dropped
last
it in
round, and it was like, oh. So I remember when I was watching this, I was just like, dude, this gave me like mini CM Punk pipe bomb vibes because I'm like, he started 3 wars in one like sentence, dude, and I was like,
amazing.
oh. So I want to talk about this because here is my big thing. You guys, you claim you want more people to watch hockey, okay? You claim you want more eyeballs on the sport. You want, what's the big argument, Marshall? You want players to show their personalities, right? That's what everyone says.
Everyone's like, oh, hockey players are too boring.
And then you get this. You get this golden, and I mean just golden promo from Nikita Kucherov. It's a promo, guys. I'm sorry. This golden promo from Nikita Kucherov, and you're like, oh, he's classless. This isn't hockey. We don't need this. What do you want? What
you want players to be boring, or you want them to be fun?
Because this is fun. If you can't handle this, then guess what? Live with your generic. Yeah, we got pucks in deep. We we played our game.
Yeah,
we got the 2 points. Live with that. I love this because guess what?
This is
now?
awesome.
You are going to tune in when Tampa plays Montreal now.
Big time.
That means more eyeballs on the sport. And you want more eyeballs on the sport means, Marshall? Just quickly off the top of your head, when more people are watching the sport?
More revenue. Probably.
More money. Yeah. I loved it.
If the Leafs are playing on the night that Montreal takes on Tampa, they better be playing a good fucking team because I think I'm watching the Habs game.
Oh, we will be dual screening that. I'm not even lying. We will be 100%. I will have the picture in picture.
Oh yeah.
Like we will be dual screening that. But what were your? I guess you seem to echo the same kind of sentiments I have. Is there anything you wanted to add to that? Kind of.
No, man. I think we went over it, man. Like you want. It's as if people like they don't know what they want or they want something too specific. I don't know what it is, but if you're gonna want NHL players to not be boring, that's what happens. NBA players do this shit all the time. You know, they're like, oh, well, they couldn't stop me, or the guy defending me is too damn small, or whatever. Like that's what it means to not be boring. If you want personality to come out, it's gonna come out. And also, listen, y'all got to keep in perspective that Nikita Kucherov was both drunk as fuck and Russian. Okay, so there's already, he's not as comfortable with English as you and I are, most likely, and he's drunk. So, I don't know what you expected, but I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it.
I loved it. I honestly loved it. And here's the thing too, man. I love that now he's like a heel. Like he's a bad guy. Like people are going to perceive him that way. And I think hockey needs more bad guys, dude. I mean, there's a reason people don't like Brad Marchand and they tune into his highlights to see if he gets like hit or anything. Or if he scores a goal, he like shoves it in their faces. He does, the McGregor.
I just remembered something.
Yeah.
Didn't Cole Caulfield do that exact same shit last round? Not exactly the same, but one of Vegas's goalies was talking about how Caulfield likes to go 5-hole. And basically
I missed
Cole
this, please.
Caulfield.
Yeah, fill me in.
Yeah, what happened is somebody said, one of the goalies or whatever said they knew Caulfield was going 5-hole because I think Caulfield in that game had a pretty good chance and he got stopped.
Yeah.
And Caulfield fired back with, "Well, it's good that he opened his mouth because it lets us know what their thought process is."
Ooh.
And I think like the next game, Caulfield got a chance and went glove side and fucking roofed it, which was awesome.
Right?
So why are we? I'm saying if you're a Habs fan, you're mad at Kucherov. No.
Exactly.
No.
Because guess
Sorry.
what? You're going to tune into this game. You're going to watch the game now to see him get clocked, to see your team respond, do something, to see anything now. And more people, more casual people are going to tune in as well just to see that game. I mean, I don't have them off the top of my head, but I imagine that Rangers and Capitals game did some gangbusters numbers after the Tom Wilson incident. Right?
I guarantee you it did.
I assume that did some great numbers because you wanted to tune in what happened. And guess what happened? What, 7 or 8 fights?
Yeah.
Right? 7 or 8 fights. More eyeballs on the product. Hockey needs more villains, man. It needs more villains.
The more fun thing for me about the Rangers Capitals thing was people prior to it saying, "Oh, the Rangers don't have any enforcers, like they don't have Dan Carcillos on the team, so they won't do anything just because overall the Caps are bigger, so they won't do anything." And I'm like, you guys are stupid. you guys have either not been watching hockey long enough, or you're stupid or biased. Because obviously something was gonna happen. I didn't think 3 fights like 0.2 seconds in and 100 penalty minutes in the first period, but something was gonna happen in that game. Like no.
Don't underestimate the bond of hockey players and the brotherhood of hockey players, man. Even if they don't fight, guess what's going to happen? They are going to fight. Yeah. If your boy, your teammate, especially someone like Artemi Panarin gets ragdolled, you are going to respond.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter, man. This could be your first fight. Guess what? You're getting training on ice. Like I remember it was the same kind of thing with the Leafs, wasn't it? After like what was it, the Edler thing or something? Hall or Dermott was like getting lessons from Bogosian about how to stance and how to fight and stuff like that.
Oh, is
like,
that a thing to happen?
That was, yeah. I think it was one of those defensemen was like getting tips about how to stand and how to fight and stuff like that. Like that's gonna happen. Like you're gonna figure out a way to do it, to stand up for your teammate. That's what's going to happen, and because you gotta stand up for your brothers, man. So it didn't matter if they had an enforcer or not. It didn't matter if they had Dan Carcillo. It didn't matter who they had on their team. You're gonna stand. You're gonna fight, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why, like, I keep saying it, man. As much as it sucked for that decision where nothing happened, I mean, it was kind of cool to get the aftermath. And this is not condoning George Peros doing a good job, which is what Bettman said, which, by the way, that was hilarious. Mm-hmm. I thought that was absolutely just mystifyingly funny. But, you know, players are going to stick up for themselves, and they are absolutely going to get themselves in there when they need to. And hockey just needs more heels, man. Like I think you can't be on the fence on that, which is what I was going to get back to. You cannot be on the fence with, oh, we need more personalities, we need this, or we need to keep it like just boring and generic. Pick a side. It can't be either one.
If you want personalities, you're not going to have all good guys. You need a bad guy to counteract the good guys to get invested. So you need heels.
Yes, you need a baby face. Listen. Hulk Hogan needed Andre the Giant, okay? Stone Cold Steve Austin needed Vince McMahon, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You need a good guy and you need a bad guy. You need someone to play off of. You need motivation to go after him. You need you need now the Montreal Canadiens to, retaliate, do something, do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that's, sending a message, putting in body checks, Shea Weber just gronking him, which I think he could do. But you just need something, man. Speaking of Shea Weber and the Canadiens, I'm going to pose the same question I did to you in regards to Tampa. Where does Montreal go in this now? I mean, they were 18th this year. Does Montreal look a little bit more appealing to play with, knowing that you now have Nick Suzuki, who's kind of blossoming? You have Cole Caulfield.
Does Montreal season?
Yeah. Does Montreal now become, because over the last couple of years, not too many free agents have been going there. Does Montreal seem like a good place to kind of play? No?
Not as a free agent destination. That's still not going to be a thing. Because realistically, they did finish 18th in the league. and you still have the tax thing, which is a real thing. Like it is an issue. So I don't think it's a thing.
But
You
where
have
do they go from here now? Like, what moves do you see the Burger Man in his red suit making?
the Bert. Yo, I thought it was funny that Bergevin wore green for that last game, so he could just end up suffering the same fate as the Dallas Stars did. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, why you gonna
I
do him
saw
like
him
that, Marshall?
I saw him in green, and I was like, "Oh, so you want to be the Dallas Stars? Cool, that turned out good. You're going home, bud. You're going home." But as far as where they go, I mean, low key, I think they're another team that's over the cap, if I remember correctly. So low key, they got to shed a little bit, but with Caulfield coming in as a full-time player, that's going to help them because ELC money.
Mhm.
But they can make a few moves, and if they could just get a little bit of goddamn offense, and
That's their heel. That's their Achilles heel right now, man.
yeah, well, it is, and they also don't seem to want to fix it. How are you going to struggle offensively and then scratch Kotkaniemi and Thomas Tatar?
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't understand. So it's like, you know how if you have a strength and a weakness, you need to work on your strength to make it unstoppable, but you also need to work on your weakness.
Wasn't
so
there a
that it
metaphor
becomes a
like you
strength.
work 90% on your strength and 10% on your weakness or something like that?
I don't know about 90-10, but it's
Or
you have
80-20,
to work on
something like that.
you have to work on everything, because what happens is if you overvalue your strength, your weakness becomes really exploitable. So sure, you want to build a defensively responsible physical team, cool. At the end of the day, if you can't score, you're not winning anything. You know, I did some research,
Okay.
and the top 16 teams for goals per game made the playoffs. The second highest, or the second most physical team with hits per game, were the Ottawa Senators,
Who very much did not make the
who
playoffs.
very much did not make. They probably could have made it in an 82 game, but hey, coulda, woulda, shoulda stuff. What I'm saying is, you need to score goals to win the game. That's how hockey is won. You score more goals than the other team. So they gotta. It's worrying to see them sit Kotkaniemi and Tatar when they need offense. So I don't know where they go, because if they double down, sure, you might be able to recreate that kind of playoff run where you can shut down teams like Vegas, but I think ultimately it's not really useful.
That's the thing too that was just kind of alarming with Montreal. Because listen, guys, as you know, I do like to talk the smack, but I feel like I can be very logical and level-headed at times when I need to be.
Mhm.
So I was chirping, "Hey, KK, which game are you sitting out for?" And then the forefinger up. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, why are they doing this? Like he's second in goals during that playoff run. Why are you doing this? It makes zero sense. And Thomas Tatar was an odd one too. Like, they traded for him. He was doing extremely well for the Montreal Canadiens. He was scoring goals, but he's sitting as well in favor of Eric Stahl? Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they traded for him, and you kind of have to do something, but if it's not working and you're not getting goal scoring,
you don't have to do something with him. See, this is my thing. When people go, "Oh, well, they spent assets to get X, Y, and Z, so they have to play him," I'm like, no, the fuck they don't. Play the team that's going to give you the best chance at winning. And if the player you acquired is good enough, they're going to play themselves onto that team. If they're not, then you sit them the fuck down. It's that simple.
And they're also insurance as well, because injuries happen.
Yeah, that's like when people, I see sometimes people debate certain merits of players, and they're like, "Oh, well, player X only got like 12 minutes of ice time." I'm like, well, if he was great, he would have forced them to give them more ice time. Sorry, you got to earn that ice time. Like, it's what it is, man. I don't like it. I hate the whole
narrative
gonna,
of that. Like, if you acquire
yeah,
someone, you got to use them, kind of thing. It makes sense. Like, it makes sense. Like, listen, yeah, it's like you said, the best players are going to play. And obviously, if you trade it for someone who's or if you trade it for someone who's who's good, then obviously they're gonna force your hand and make you play them.
Exactly.
And then if worse comes to worse, and maybe they're not up to the standard, you still have a team that has a chance to win. Like, that's not a loss there. Like, it's not like you acquired them and now we can't play this guy, so that means we're gonna lose. No, you ice the best possible team in front of you.
Yeah. Now, Stahl over Tatar. It kind of if you want a guy that can take faceoffs and play center, then yes, Stahl makes sense. But like, you're gonna tell me out of all the forwards that scored a goal in Game 5 for the Habs, you mean to tell me not one of them can come out of the lineup for Thomas Tatar? I don't think so.
Exactly. And then also, it wasn't even just forwards too. Like, they sat Alexander Romanov for how many games, and then he gets back in and just blasts a goal, like, to give them that 2-1 lead in Game 4. Like, why are they leaving talented players in the press box?
Romanov, I understood a little bit more because he's a young defenseman. Like, it's not as though he was unstoppable offensively. So you probably play, more experienced defensemen. Like, you don't want a Jake Gardner situation, but the forwards for me are the biggest thing. Romanov, I somewhat understand because it's not like their defense was terrible. I thought their defense was okay. They could move the puck out to the forwards, and they did a really good job at stopping opposing teams at their own blue line. And against Tampa, you need guys that'll break the cycle. You need that. Tampa, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, once they get started, it becomes harder to stop. Like, you can't cut them off immediately. You have fun playing in your own end. Because
it's crazy, man. It's like that Game 7 against the Islanders in that first period. Like, they were just all over the Islanders. It was crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's the big defensive team. Tampa was like, nope, not today. We are cycling.
Whenever they get the puck in the offensive zone, you might as well cue up the like the Harlem Globetrotters music, man, because it's just gonna go thunk, 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 thunk.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Like, that's all it's gonna be. Like, it's just pucks just moving everywhere, and God forbid you give the Tampa Bay Lightning primarily a power play. Because I watch their power play and I go, why can't I have that? Like, why can't my team do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way they have all these weapons on each wing. Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov with big one-timers. At the point, big Victor Hedman just steamrolling his body weight into pucks. And then you get down low, you get Anthony Cirelli, and then you get Braden Point with that little bumper play out in front of the net, and then Point just roofs it. It's like,
it's beautiful. It's awesome.
It's a work of art. I want to frame it and put it in the Louvre, dude. Like, it's so beautiful.
And I think the thing I like the most about Tampa Bay's power play is that they do have their number one option, which seems to be the Kucherov one-timer, but none of those players particularly give a shit about forcing it to him if it's not open. If it's not open, that puck is zooming around either until it gets open or somebody else gets open. And that's really the premise of a power play. You draw someone towards you and you pass it to someone who's more open at that point.
You mean you can go on a power play and not force the same play over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? You can do that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that, the reason why Ovechkin's play works is because John Carlson's play works.
It's almost like having two viable options there directly correlates with a successful power play.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's maybe like not trying to feed the same left-handed shot over and over again might lead to more beneficial results.
Exactly.
It's like a quote from The Simpsons. We tried nothing and we're out of ideas.
Yeah.
It's like forcing, an option away from the left-handed shot is just sometimes beneficial. But don't get me wrong, sometimes the left-handed shot on the power play is a pretty good idea. And Marshall, quick question. Do you know who has a pretty good left-handed shot on the power play?
Not me.
You were
'Cause I'm
very much a
right-handed.
righty.
Yes.
Not me either, because I usually play the front of the net. But Mr. Vladimir Tarasenko is a pretty good left-handed shot on the power play. And he currently wants out of the St. Louis Blues. That actually broke during, I believe it was Game 5. And that, I remember seeing that, and I'm like, oh, what kind of NHL trade rumors? There's a blue check mark from this account. Okay. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, what is this? And he wants out of there, and he's 29 years old. He's got a $7.5 million cap hit for this season coming up and the next. That is 2 good years of Vladimir Tarasenko. But I have questions. He's a bit injury prone now. He's had a couple big injuries where it's taken him out for a season, a majority of the season. Like, is he going to be the same Vladimir Tarasenko? And where do you think he goes, Marshall? If you were to guess, maybe one or two. I won't kind of stymie you, make you pick one. I'll give you a couple options you can go with, maybe ones that'll make sense. But where do you think he goes? And is this the same Vladimir Tarasenko we're going to see, man? Because I have my doubts personally with that huge injury history, man.
It's tough, but at the same time, that guy is talented, my dude.
He's good. No doubt. No doubt he's good.
Yeah, and there's other players that have had long injury history, but when they do show up, they are really good. I feel like Tarasenko's that. And for a 2-year term, it makes sense. And for his dollar amount, it makes a lot of sense, man, because Tarasenko has at least $10 million talent.
Okay.
He does. And injuries and shit, whatever, LTIR, it's fine. So, man, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Do we have front runners? Like, do we know of teams that are interested?
I don't think so off the hop, because it is kind of relatively new. I mean, here, I'll look
James Neal for Tarasenko. He says no.
Who says no? Who says no? Show me who says no.
Tell me who says no. You know what?
Oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting.
Okay. So we need a team that potentially would like to get a few years younger.
Okay.
Have a short contract so that it's flexible, and probably could use a little bit of cap space. Somebody who can play wing and center. Steven Stamkos for Vladimir Tarasenko. Imagine.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Tampa would revolt, dude.
No, bro, I think the hockey world would revolt. Are you kidding me? That would piss off Tampa fans, but it would also give the Bolts a little bit more cap space.
Oh.
That'd be hilarious. No, it's not happening. I mean, they both wear 91.
That's an easy.
They just have to change the name.
I was gonna say, you just gotta go rip and then plunk and then done. Don't even unsit. Just heat press it. Heat press it on. There you go.
Press it on.
Easy peasy. If I'm to guess teams personally, though, man, how if Boston can't re-sign Taylor Hall?
No.
How good do you think he would look there? You don't think so?
No, I don't think they should. I think they might. I don't think they should. I really think Boston needs to rebuild. Like now, because they can still get a lot of value for their assets. And they're aging, and it reeks of Detroit. It reeks of Detroit extending their window far past what it would have been or what it realistically is. And ever since then, they've had a decade of being garbage.
I'm not going to argue, because I think you're right, but I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll embrace the rebuild now, man. I think the way Boston is, they're going to try and absolutely get the most they can out of Marchand and Bergeron. Like, they are going to ride them into the ground.
Well, they don't necessarily have to full-on rebuild, as in tear it down, be garbage, and get high draft picks, but you can retool. You can get value for Bergeron. You can get a lot of value for Marchand, because he's not that old, is he?
He's 30-ish. I'll look him up right now.
Can get a lot of value for Krejci.
And then obviously, I guess you keep Pasternak, because his contract is just unfair.
You can't trade that. But I think they need to retool that roster.
Man. That's also a good question with them too, because that's going to depend on the goaltending situation and if they get Tuukka Rask back or what's going to happen in that regard. Because I don't know if they have too many good, decent goaltending prospects. Bergeron is 35. Brad Marchand is 33.
Oh,
Krejci is 35. And so, I mean, they're young.
they haven't really fallen off yet. Like they've slowed down a little bit. When I'm thinking about Krejci and Bergeron here, they've slowed down a little bit, but they are still really good players.
But you know what? I mean, Bergeron's got this year left. Krejci is actually a UFA. Marchand still has 4 years left on his deal. And a lot of these, dude, I'm looking at their contracts right now. I mean, Pasta's got 2 more years left on his deal. Marchand's got 4. Even some of these players have 2 years left. Like, Tarasenko here makes a lot of sense because it would fit with their window. Like,
sure.
Him here for the 2 years and then maybe, but devil's advocate, if you get Tarasenko, that means you kind of can't retool. You have to rebuild after this. Like, this is your window. You've decided this is your window now. If you don't go for it, you're done after this. If you don't win, you're done.
Yeah. Tarasenko is the nuclear launch codes.
Yes.
Like once you turn the key, they're gone. There's no turning back. That thing is taking off. So they got to make absolutely sure that they have a plan to replenish inevitably the cap that they're going to have to trade away to get Tarasenko, which I think would include Krejci. So you have to get somebody to play that role, and you have to, do the salary cap dance at the bottom of the lineup to make sure you have some quality players. So they could do it, go full on nuclear, and just go for it for the next 2, maybe 3 years, but most likely 2 years. Or they could rebuild. I don't think there's any upside to doing something else. But
I feel like Boston, if he went to Boston, it's kind of the two situations we presented. You either kind of retool and you don't get Tarasenko, or if you get him, this is it. You have to go for it now because you are done. I'm looking at New York, Marshall. How do you feel about New York as a destination? The Rangers, he's not going to the Islanders. Well, that might not be a bad idea, but the Rangers, because, you have a lot of players still in their ELCs. Their big boy contracts are coming up at the 2022-2023 season, which would be Tarasenko's last year.
They're not doing it.
It could be a nice two-team or a 2-year fit there, What about Los Angeles?
The Rangers, I don't think they're doing it because you have Fox at the end of next season, and you have Mika as well. I'm pretty sure Mika's at the end of next season too.
That is also fair.
Or is Mika this year?
Mika has this season left. He's got this season coming up left, and that's
this upcoming season.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they have Fox and Mika, and Tarasenko's 2 years. I don't think there's a fit there.
About the Los Angeles Kings, that
would be fun.
There's some good players coming up. You have Quentin Byfield. They have Turcotte as well. Thank you.
Every single year, yeah.
Arthur Kaliev is coming up. Like, there's
it's true. They have Kaliev.
Yes,
dude. I remember watching the draft and being like, "Why the fuck is this man not drafted yet?"
Right?
He went way too deep. He was like Caulfield. Like, I watched it. I was like, don't keep somebody please take him. It's the Habs, of course. But Kaliev was kind of that for me, but he ended up going to the Kings. Man, that would be fun.
Here's a reason why I'm presenting Los Angeles, because Dustin Brown has this upcoming season left at 5.875.
That's it.
Some of the contracts that are coming up, and by the way, we completely forgot about this, Marshall. LA has Victor Arvidsson now too. Like, they have good players there up front. Like, this could be a decent fit, man.
Yeah, they need a more consistent goalie, I think. But
yeah, I mean, Jonathan Quick has 2 more years at 5.8. He's got 2 more years at 5.8. So if he leaves, that's still money to re-sign him.
What was Quick's stats this season?
Jonathan Quick stats. Let me see if I can find it here.
I didn't watch as many Los Angeles Kings games as I usually do.
No, fair enough. He had an 898 save percentage and a
Yeah, so I
GAA
was
of
right.
2.86.
Yeah, that is not good.
Not ideal.
That is not good at all. So yeah, unless they can, I don't know, figure out something with goaltending. I don't even think they have a
Hey, there's
like
a
goalie in the
goalie.
pipeline. Do
Not
they?
really, but there's a couple goalies hitting the open market. I mean, Frederick
No.
Anderson, is he a fit?
But if you no, Frederick Anderson.
Frederick Anderson.
Frederick Anderson thinks he's worth $5 million. You cannot spend $10 million on 2 question mark goalies. You cannot do that.
Does Fred even get $5 million though? Like,
Hey, he thinks he's worth it, and some team is gonna do it.
yeah.
If not, they're gonna give him like 4.5.
Yeah, that's also very true. That's very fair. I'm trying to see if there's Tuukka Rask is also a free agent this year as well. Like that could be an option for goaltending for the Kings.
Yeah, maybe. You said 5.4 for Quick.
5.8 for Quick this year next.
5.8. Oh my god,
that
sucks.
That
they have
does
to
suck.
Man. It'd be hilarious.
What?
If they traded to get Jack Campbell back, because he can start like 40 games and give you really good performance, and he's being paid nothing.
If I'm Kyle Dubas, I'm chaining the doors to the locker room and not letting LA anywhere near him. Is it Rob Blake or Robitaille? Is one of them running it? I'm like, I'm not letting them near it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
Pekka Rinne is also up as a goalie, but you're not getting him. Devin Dubnyk, Antti Raanta is a free agent.
Play, maybe, for Georgiev.
Georgiev Machka? Oh,
that might be the move.
Okay.
Because I think he's still on a decent deal. I think if they need to fix goaltending, they could make a play for Georgie, depending on if they're comfortable.
He has
sending
this
assets.
year at 2.425, and then he's
decent.
an RFA at the end of this season.
That's decent, but the question becomes: do you think you can actually be competitive this year? No, I don't think so.
With Tarasenko, though, man?
No.
Like,
No way, dude. They still have... Like, Byfield still needs a little bit more development time. He's not going to be a freaking game-changing force.
Right away.
Right now. No, I don't. I think he still needs probably another year. That's just me, and I love Byfield. But I think he probably still needs another year before he's really ready to make an impact on a top 6 role.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it would make sense to get Tarasenko, to be honest. Unless they got like massive plans to go like full biblical and just
biblical.
Yeah, and just reshape the entire roster. But I don't think they could really.
Okay, so who do you think, if you were just to guess right now, would be getting Vladimir Tarasenko? Just off the top of your head. Just any kind of guess right now. Any team, like just maybe even a gut feeling. Is there a gut feeling where you think that Vlad is going to end up? I mean, there is some teams who will take him. Like, there's a lot of teams who will take him.
Considering his talent, he's a value contract. And he's not signed for that long. I'm just thinking maybe the Sens. They need a talented forward. He can play wing or center.
Mm-hmm.
He's not spectacular at center, but he can play it. Maybe the Sens. The Sens could be cool. It'd be interesting.
With Colin White, with Tim Stutzla, Alex Formanton.
Yeah.
That's not a bad destination, man. That could be pretty good.
And that's appealing to Eugene because you're like, listen, he's risky with injuries, but he's underpaid a little bit right now, and we're not committing to him for that long. It's a 2-year contract. You could sell that to Eugene.
And a lot of the contracts, like the ELCs, like Stutzla, like Pinto, they also end at the same time as Tarasenko's contract.
Did I just find it?
And Dadonov's contract ends at the same time. Colin White has 2 more years after that. Connor Brown's contract ends at the exact same time. Like all these contracts come up right then and there. Like literally right at the end of the 2022-2023 season. They all end up this might be the outside take, but it kind of makes a lot of sense. You're off the wall here, but I agree with you.
I know.
I agree with you. You know what? I'll back you up on this. I will 100% back you up because it makes a lot of sense because even at 7.5, I'm looking at it right now, hypothetically with him there, that's 12, that's 13, that's 16, 17, 18.
Just look at their cap front.
I'm there right now. 18, 20, that's 23. That's a lot of money coming off the books right there, and you can you'll have enough for your like either bridge or raises for Stützle. You'll easily have enough right there.
And since everybody's coming off at the same time, that's flexibility.
Yes,
you can pick and choose which one you want to re-sign, and the rest you can just either trade or let walk. But considering how close Ottawa was to potentially making the playoffs in an 82-game season this year, I think if there's a way for them to get him at a price that's palatable, you might want to consider it. You add a really, really talented forward. Obviously, if you don't need to take that much away from your main roster, which you'll have to take somebody, but, it is what it is.
Ottawa's going to be a scary team in like 2 years, man, because I'm looking at their cap friendly right now. They have a lot of money that's literally about to come off in 3 years. Like a lot of money. They are going to have dollars to play with, man.
It's a little bit of fictional dollars because they have a lot of guys to re-sign. But
yeah,
but I know what you mean. I don't know, man. Tkachuk, White, and Tarasenko sounds like a line I don't want to try to defend.
I completely forgot about Brady Tkachuk. I don't even see him here. Oh, there he is. He's at the bottom. He's an RFA this year, but I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that does not sound like a line at all. As someone who's going to watch his team play Ottawa like 7 to 8 times in the Atlantic, man. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, man. But I'm with you.
Because listen, as a right defenseman, I look at that line and I go like, so 3 talented players and 2 of them can be dicks. Great. That's amazing. Fun times ahead.
Man, I don't want to see Tarasenko just light up Jack Campbell on the power play. I don't want it, but it makes a lot of sense. You know what? You have convinced me, man. This is a really compelling argument because this looks so good.
Also, apparently, the Sens were somewhat interested in maybe getting Giroux. I think if you're going to make a play, Tarasenko is the much better bet than Giroux.
Yeah, because you still have Colin White as your number 1. You have Josh Norris as your number 2. Like, I don't know if I'd really make a move to make Giroux your number 3. Like, that's kind of But if you make the move for Tarasenko, he's right in your top 6. Doesn't matter if he's first or second. But I don't know if I'd make the play on Claude right there. Good old Ontario boy, Claude Giroux, by the way.
Yeah, noted Ontario guy, Claude Giroux. Sure.
A bunch of you just scratched your heads at that and you want to call us idiots, but nope.
Nope. Look it up. Thanks to the comments, I know that is a fact.
The one person who commented that in your video is like, thank you, Marshall. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to end on something really fun here. Really, really quick. I kind of love these because there's no basis for them, and it's a nice little thing to kind of end on. Marshall, who is your 2021-2022 way too early, egregiously early pick to win the Stanley Cup next year?
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Yep, your egregiously way too early pick to win the Stanley Cup.
Dude, with the addition of Duncan Keith, how can you not pick the
Edmonton? Get out of here.
Dude, I'm gonna cry if we get him. I'm going to be so upset. Oh, I already hate the trade and I don't even know who we gave up.
I'm already mad.
I'm already oh man, that makes me sad. But okay. Super early pick.
Like I said, no rhyme or reason, just
fuck it pick.
Yeah, the old gut feeling, like we just said with Tarasenko. The old, like, what's the guts telling you, man? What are they saying? What's going to happen? It's a tough one. it's tough, but it's not because like you can just throw any name out there and it just sounds
Yeah.
like whatever. It's Magic
See,
Beans
my
at this
my
point.
thought process for this is the first place my brain went to was Carolina, but they are swiftly becoming a perennial choking team.
The new San
So,
Jose Sharks, if you
yeah,
will.
maybe. Yeah. So I'm gonna eliminate them. Vegas has a lot of work to do to round out their roster, but if they can get their hands on Jack Eichel, it would look a lot better.
It's tough.
Colorado's also kind of choke artists at this point. I don't really want to bet for them. You know what? My fuck it pick is going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I feel like that's never like a fucking pick. I feel like Pittsburgh's always like a safe option. Like you can never count out Sid and Malkin ever.
It's because they're not. A lot of people are going to count them out, but realistically, if they just make a couple of moves and they click and they actually get some fucking saves from a goalie for once, they can do that. I think they can ride some momentum and just, capture that. Okay, this is our last go at it, our last little window to win with Sid. So I think, maybe him. How long is Sid's contract still? Can you look that up?
I absolutely can look that up for you.
I think at this point he's getting paid like $4 or $3 million of actual money.
He has, I think that's also the case, but he is up at the end of 2024 or 2025. So he's got 4 more seasons left. Malkin, by the way, UFA at the end of this season.
This upcoming season?
Yeah, at the end of this upcoming. Oh, yeah, if it was this season, we would have heard a lot more about it. But yeah, this upcoming season, he is up. And at 9 point, he's certainly not getting 9.5 mil again. But at the end of this year, he's up. So yeah, you have 4 more years with Sid, this year with Malkin.
Can you read me Sid's actual salary for the next 4 years?
Let me just click into his name.
His cap hit is 8.7, but his actual salary.
His base salary,
because it's crazy. That contract is crazy.
Okay, so this year, like this upcoming season, it's $9 million for base salary.
Oh, still,
but
wow.
The next 3 years, it's only $3 million in base salary.
It's 3 mil, 3 mil, 3 mil.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That contract was crazy because you're right. It was 12, 12, 12, 10.9, 10.9, 10, 9, 9.6. So it goes up and then 9 and then 3, 3, and 3.
It's weird how they made that fit. It's really weird because they're like, so the cap for a player is like, at the time where Crosby signed it, the cap for a single player had to be like 9.5.
I think
something like that.
He has one of those illegal contracts that you can't do anymore.
And they were like, Sid is making 12 this year. and 5-year-old Connor McDavid was like, I might do that one day.
5-year-old Connor McDavid and his Clifford the Big Red Dog notepad's like, I like that. Hold on. He's like, oh, I'm gonna make a note of that. $12 million. All right. Let's table that for later. Oh, Arthur's on. Like that was Connor McDavid.
Yeah. I threw out a random guess. He was older than 5, but
probably.
Yeah. But
he probably still had the Clifford the Big Red Dog notepad. Let's
somewhere. It's one of those things where you don't really throw out because you're not a kid anymore, but you're still a kid.
Yeah, and it's still practical. You don't throw out practical things.
Yeah, of course.
Which I'm gonna throw out my guess here. So you're gonna go with the Pittsburgh Penguins as you're ridiculously too early.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna make a safe bet.
I'm gonna year out.
I'm gonna make a safe bet a year out of this, of course. I'm gonna think that Colorado is going to do something.
Finally do it.
They're going to have to make a move for something, man, because they have Nate Mack's contract. He's coming up, man. Like, that's going to be a heck of a raise.
Nah, he said he'd take less again to win.
Yeah, I know he did, but still. God, I hate that he would do that. That's such a nice value-looking contract, and a player would do that. Why can't mine do that?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Oh, But I think they're gonna have to, man. I think that they're gonna have to do something. They're gonna get it done this year because you know, hey,
watch it be the Stanley Cup Finals. That would be hilarious. We are gonna be so invested.
oh, yeah,
I call
Pittsburgh.
this a year out.
That's gonna. Oh, if that happens, Marshall, we're gonna have to place a bet or something on that. Like, we're gonna have to up the stakes a little bit.
So much gamer fuel is gonna be on the line. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, like it's 100% gonna be like a 2-tub bet or something. Like, because that's gonna be the odds statistically, man. Oh, I kind of want that now. I kind of want that final.
That would be awesome.
Oh, and of course Colorado would win. Let's be real. I'm already talking trash.
Oh,
of a
Crosby
win.
versus McKinnon, dude. It writes itself. Come on.
Oh, the battle of Cole Harbor. Oh,
yeah, the Cole Bowl.
The Cole Bowl.
The Cole Bowl, and that is how we end the show.
I love it. Thank you guys all so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna just scooch my boy Marshall on out of here, and we'll see ya with the Cole Bowl.